Good morning, everyone. I am Michelle Aldahuyag, your substitute teacher for today. But before we proceed to our topic, may I request Mr. Hernie Gama to please lead the prayer. So, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Amen. So, say present once your name is called. Mr. Purpo, Miss Barangol, Mr. Dacubor, Miss Doidora, Mr. Gonato, Miss Gamosa. Very good. Seems all of you here are present. So, may I ask, who among you here remembered our last topic? Yes, Mr. Lanzaderas. Yes, it is correct. Our last topic is all about the elements of a story. So now, let's proceed to our topic. So our topic for today is all about parts of speech. But what is parts of speech? Parts of speech are the classification of words categorized by their rules and functions within the structure of the language. Parts of speech encompass everything a language has in itself. Can you imagine all the words of a language can be sorted into these categories? Because each part plays a different roles in the structure of a language. And in English, there are 8 parts of speech, such as noun, pronoun, adverb, adjective, verb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. So, I have here activity 1 or word scrabble that will help you determine some parts of speech. It will also serve as your icebreaker since most of you here are still sleepy. So, number 1, you can answer. Yes, it is parts of speech. How about number 2? Yes, very good. It is conjunction. How about number 3? Anyone? Yes, it is interjection. How about number 4? Yes, it is preposition. And number 5, the last one. Yes, it is adjective. So now, let's proceed to activity 2, which is listening activity using The Little Match Girl story by Hans Christian Andersen. I will only read the text twice and fill in the blank, the correct term or parts of speech to complete the statements. Write the answers only on a piece of paper. It was so terribly cold. Snow was falling. And it was almost dark. Evening came on, the last evening of the year. In the cold and gloom, a poor little girl, bareheaded and barefoot, was walking through the streets. Of course, when she had left her house, she'd had slippers on, but what good had they been? They were very big slippers, way too big for her, for they belonged to her mother. The little girl had lost them running across the road, where 2 carriages had rattled by terribly fast. One slipper she'd not been able to find again, and a boy had run off with the other, saying he could use it very well as a cradle someday when he had children of his own. And so the little girl walked on her naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron she carried several packages of matches, and she held a box of them in her hand. No one had bought any from her all day long, and no one had given her a cent. Again, it was so terribly cold. Snow was falling, and it was almost dark. Evening came on, the last evening of the year. In the cold and gloom, a poor little girl, bareheaded and barefoot, was walking through the streets. Of course, when she had left her house, she'd had slippers on. But what good had they been? They were very big slippers, way too big for her, for they belonged to her mother. The little girl had lost them running across the road where two carriages had rattled by terribly fast. One slipper she'd not been able to find again, and a boy had run off with the other, saying he could use it very well as a cradle some day when he had children of her own. And so the little girl walked on her naked feet, which were quite red and blue with the cold. In an old apron, she carried several packages of matches, and she held a box of them in her hand. No one had bought any from her all day long, and no one had given her a cent. So, answer now. I will give you 5 minutes only. Okay, so are you familiar now with the parts of speech? So now let us define all of them by giving their meaning and their examples. First, what is noun? A noun refers to a person, places, things, ideas, concepts, and etc. Noun encompasses most of the words of a language. Example, Michael is a good boy. Michael here is a noun since he is the subject in the sentence. Second, Melbourne is the best city. Melbourne here refers to a city or a place that makes it the noun in the sentence. Next one, what is pronoun? A pronoun is used to refer a noun or a noun phrase instead of using it repeatedly. Example number 1. Michael is a good boy. He gets up early in the morning. So since Michael is a boy, we uses he to refer him in the second sentence. Number 2, Julie made some cookies. They look tasty. So since we modify the cookies, we use they. Next one is verb. A verb shows an action or an ongoing condition. It tells us what the subject performs. Verbs are also the hearts of English sentences. Example, Mike is going to school. Is going or the underlined words for number 1 is a condition of an action. Number 2, Alexa is one of the cheerleaders. It refers is refer to a state of being. Number 3, Ryan plays basketball. Plays here refers to a usual action of a person. Next, what is an adjective? An adjective modifies or describes the noun in a sentence by answering the questions what kind, how many, which one, how much. It normally indicates the quality, size, shape, duration, feelings, contents, and more about a noun and a pronoun. Example, Cecilia loves her beautiful daughters. It refers to what kind of daughters Cecilia has. Second, I love that black dress. That black is the adjective since it refers to what kind or which one of those dresses. Next, what is an adverb? Adverb modify or describe adjectives, verbs, and other adverbs. It answers the question 1. Why, when, where, how, or how much. It tells when and where when, where, and how the action is performed or indicates the quality or degree of the action. Number 1. He is running fast. Number 1 simply describes how does he run. Number 2. She always reads attentively. Number 2 also describes how often she reads and in what way. Note that many adverb ends in ly, but some words which ends in ly, such as friendly, are not adverbs. Many words can be both adverbs and adjectives according to their activity in the sentence. Next, what is a preposition? Preposition gives context to nouns in relationship to other nouns and pronouns. It explains the relationship of sequence, space, and logic between the object and the rest of the sentence. It helps us understand the order, time, and positions in the sentence. Example number 1. I am going to France. It answers as to where the subject is going. Number 2. France is in Europe. It connects to where France is located. Did you get it? Okay, so let's proceed to conjunction. A conjunction connects nouns, noun phrases, clauses, or sentences together. It is commonly known as the fanboys, which means for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Example, Julie loves pasta, but she hates pizza. This example makes two simple sentences connect together to make it one. Number 2, Kath and Maxine are playing together. This example also connects two nouns in a sentence. So let's proceed to interjection. Interjection are brief and abrupt pauses in a speech, usually used for expressing emotions. It is a kind of exclamation inserted into a regular speech. Example, oh, that feels terrible. Number 2, alas, they have lost the match. Note that interjections don't have grammatical functions in the sentence construction. So, do you get it? The definition and the examples of parts of speech? Very good. Since all of you here are fast learner, I have here the last activity before we end our class. Activity 4, evaluation, which is a multiple choice. You only need to select the best answer that corresponds to the question. Write only the letter on a piece of paper. So number 1, the little girl walked on her naked feet. Determine only the bold letter or the bold word. Number 1, the little girl walked on her naked feet. A, noun. B, pronoun. C, verb. D, adjective. Number 1, the little girl walked on her naked feet. A, noun. B, pronoun. C, verb. D, adjective. Number 2, yes, she thought of that. A, preposition. B, conjunction. C, interjection. D, adverb. Number 2, yes, she thought of that. A, preposition. B, conjunction. C, interjection. D, adverb. Number 3, the little girl had lost them running across the road, where two carriages had rattled by terribly fast. A, adjective. B, adverb. C, verb. D, preposition. The little girl had lost them running across the road, where two carriages had rattled by terribly fast. A, adjective. B, adverb. C, verb. D, preposition. Number 4, her hands were almost dead with cold. Her hands were almost dead with cold. A, noun. B, pronoun. C, verb. D, adjective. Number 5. Thousands of candles burned on the green branches, and colored pictures like those in the print shops looked down at her. Thousands of candles burned on the green branches, and colored pictures like those in the print shops looked down at her. A. Conjunctions. B. Interjections. C. Preposition. D. Adverb. Thousands of candles burned on the green branches, and colored pictures like those in the print shops looked down at her. A. Conjunction. B. Interjection. C. Preposition. D. Adverb. Number 6. And she quickly struck the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. A. Verb. B. Adjective. C. Preposition. D. Adverb. And she quickly struck the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother with her. A. Verb. B. Adjective. C. Preposition. D. Adverb. Number 7. The little girl had lost time running across the road where two carriages had rattled by terribly fast. A. Noun. B. Pronoun. C. Verb. D. Adjective. The little girl had lost them running across the road where two carriages had rattled by terribly fast. A. Noun. B. Pronoun. C. Verb. D. Adverb. Number 8. She sat down and drew up her feet under her. A. Noun. B. Pronoun. C. Verb. D. Adjective. 8. She sat down and drew up her little feet under her. A. Noun. B. Pronoun. C. Verb. D. Adjective. Number 9. The youngster stretched out her feet to warm them. A. Noun. B. Pronoun. C. Verb. D. Adjective. Number 9. The youngster stretched out her feet to warm them. A. Noun. B. Pronoun. C. Verb. D. Adjective. Last number, number 10. The author of The Little Match Girl is blank. A. Hans Christian Andersen. B. Hans Christian Andersen. C. Christian Hans Anderson. D. Christian Hans Andersen. Number 10. The author of Little Match Girl is blank. A. Hans Christian Andersen. B. Hans Christian Andersen. C. Christian Hans Anderson. D. Christian Hans Andersen. So, any clarification, class, about our topic? If none, send me all your answers right after this. 5 minutes late will be deducted by 5 points. Take note that 5 minutes late will be deducted by 5 points. Okay, so that would be all. Thank you for listening and see you next meeting.